No Peak, no Walker. This is Nick Roush and Adam Luckett with an 11 personnel takeover of Kentucky Roll Call here on the Big X Sports Radio 96.1 FM, 1450 on your AM dial. And it's Monday, the week before Memorial Day, last unofficial Monday of spring. Summer officially gets underway 1 week from today, and we've got a lot to discuss. Big sports weekend. Batcats are about to begin their journey in the SEC baseball tournament. We had a PGA championship, a Triple Crown race. Mr. Luckett, how did you enjoy your weekend? Did you have a good time hanging out before hitting the road to Hoover?
I did. I watched some baseball, watched a lot of bullpen meltdowns, both Kentucky and the Cincinnati Reds. So that's my baseball life right now, Nick. It's watching some struggling bullpens trying to close out in the late innings of some of these games. And so that was pretty much it on my end.
And we got Roman getting us on in the studio, rocking the Louisville Bats hat. I know Roman, big Louisville Bats fan. Number one Louisville Bats fan in the city, many people are saying.
New in-game host for the Louisville Bats.
Oh, there we go. Parlaying the Kings. See, the Kings get good, and they're like, you know what? We got to get some of that action over at the Louisville Bats. First home dub for the Kings at the FAM this week, and you had to be fired up, Roman.
Felt good. I was thinking I was going to maybe lose my voice and not have a good first impression for the Bats fans the following day there, but we got the job done. Felt good. Drank the lemon water. You got to eat the lemons and drink the lemon water if you don't want to lose your voice. But we're feeling good, making things happen, new opportunities unfolding and presenting themselves. So just trying to stay the course and continue to, rub elbows with the right people.
Love to hear it. The Kings. I know that you didn't tune into Kentucky Roll Call today to hear Louisville Kings radio, but are the Kings the hottest team in the UFL? Many people were saying, you're trading your quarterback. What the hell are they doing? This looks like a whole fire sale.
They said we were crazy. They said we were making brash decisions. And look, now we've got the best defense in the league, hottest team in the league, win streak right now. It feels great. Glad Chris Redmond was able to make something happen on the home field for once.
I believe one win away from clinching a playoff spot. Is that correct?
So, yes.
There we go. Louisville Kings getting it done with a little spring football. Look, I have not made it to Lynn Family Stadium. Saturday would have been ideal because it was a day game. Yeah. You could get the kids out, but was on website duty. I do enjoy, especially the Thursday and Friday nights. Like, the Kings are on. Let's tune in for a little bit. Have you been able to watch any of the Kings this spring so far?
I have not watched a snap. It's been hard. I've been on the baseball beat, so that's taking up most of my time on the weekends. Feels like they're playing at the same time. So I have not. I think the only snap I've seen, Nick Roush, is what Drew Franklin sent me first game.
We need to get you in there, Luckett.
One of the interceptions.
It has at times looked rough because, the athletes are so good on defense. It's hard for the offense to keep up. But, hey, they're figuring it out. They got a quarterback. He got rocked. I saw a highlight of him getting rocked 2 weeks ago. It's Chandler Morris? Is that his name? No, yeah. Chandler Morris. Yeah. Okay.
Chandler Rogers.
There you go.
Chandler Morris is the Virginia quarterback. He got rocked against D.C. and has been awesome ever since. So, Kings getting things done. But we're not here to just talk Louisville Kings and Louisville Bats and everything happening around here. We're here to talk a little Kentucky football with you today. Seems like the college football playoff rhetoric was really heated up as of late. But I think what would you? I've got a smorgasbord of topics like it, but they all feel like they're kind of in this middle range of like, So what is the biggest sports story for Kentucky fans right now? What are they hanging on to with every bated breath? Because I don't quite know what it would be.
It's got to be just like the waiting game for Malachi Moreno.
Yeah.
And Milan's like packaged in that. Like to me, I think that's the most important thing and probably the thing people are paying attention to the most right now. Like football recruiting has slowed down. Like this is the slowest time in the football calendar to me, May.
Correct.
So this is a real quiet period, and then it'll get like really ramped up because spring meetings are at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of starts the talking season. I think where there's been playoff talk, But I don't know if that's created much buzz. Playoff expansion has created much buzz here. But I think it's the basketball, obviously, just because it's right around the corner too. Like he's got to make a decision, and then can they get Momchilovich, and then also like what is he doing with this Jamal Crawford situation?
Yes.
That was Jack and Jacob, I believe, reported on that over the weekend that he's still kind of mulling. It seems like a lot of people are mulling when it comes to joining the Kentucky basketball program.
Month is for May. The month of May is for mulling. It's mulling season. Mow your grass and mull.
May mowing.
No, we've
flowers,
not,
excuse me.
Didn't have a lot of April or May showers, but that was the biggest news of the weekend from the EYBL's first pit stop of the summer shoe circuit in Memphis. Jack and Jacob reported that Jamal Crawford is still considering an offer to join Mark Pope's coaching staff at Kentucky. It felt like initially this was all just one of the many ploys to try to get Tyrone Stokes to Kentucky. And felt like a long shot, but like, hey, let's throw our name in the ringer. And then once Stokes committed to Kansas, you thought, okay, well, they'll probably just find somebody else, which, hey, that vacant position is still there. Crawford is coaching on the EYBL while I guess he's doing the Peacock NBC game tonight, I would assume, because they've got the opening game of the Western Conference finals tonight on NBC. So he's pretty busy right around now. And I guess Mark Pope is like, you know what? If we don't get Jamal Crawford, we can find somebody else. But you know what? Let's let Crawford mull a little bit more. Would you, now that Stokes is not a part of the package deal for Crawford, would you still be eager and excited to get a Jamal Crawford? Or do you think, hey, maybe we get somebody who's done this a little bit more, because we seemingly already have a version of Jamal Crawford on the staff with Mo Williams recruiting with Kentucky over the weekend as a full-time assistant.
Yeah, obviously, like, you're not asking. I'm not in the weeds.
Correct.
This is obviously a Jack and Jacob kind of question, but, what's Mo Williams' grassroots ties? Does he have any real grassroots ties, or is he just, from college coaching? Where Jamal, it seems like he's got, like, legitimate grassroots connections when it comes to whatever he's doing out there in the Pacific Northwest with the high-end high school space in the AAU kind of situation. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. Is it an effort for Pope to kind of, like, cool the program, like get a level of coolness?
Put Kentucky in the fridge. Let's get cool.
Yeah, now, like, they're getting NBA guys like when our 20s that were playing, right?
Right.
Like Jamal Crawford and Mo Williams were like
guys we watched
in the immediate players in our 20s. Now they're a little older, but I don't know. I'm interested to see if he turns them down. Like, what's the next?
Does he stick?
The next option? Well, I think you look at who he lost. Like Brooks and Hart were supposed to be their two big recruiters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you want to replace them with guys who can bring some recruiting chops to your program. There's a belief, I think, that Mo Williams can provide that, and then I guess we'll see if he can get Crawford or not, and then what would be the next move. So it's just been an interesting way to handle all of this, I think, Nick. Like, on the surface, it seems a little weird that he would enter such a critical time and basically hire a de facto GM like a week before everything pops off, right? And then to go through this without a assistant coach. It seems like most places would want to get people in place right before everything goes crazy, but Pope has chosen to do it differently. And I guess, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I think looking back at just how he handled this offseason, I think is something we're all going to discuss, whether right, wrong, indifferent. This is going to be kind of what we look back at and just how he managed this offseason for him. I think will be critical, like, down the road. Like, that'll probably determine a lot. We'll look back at how this all shook out and how they went about it.
It's worth noting, too, that it's not just the potential Tyrone Stokes package deal, but, his son's no slouch either, J.J. Crawford. It's a little bit further away, but he is the number 1 recruit in the 2029 class. So, just saying that's still floating out there.
What's he? I mean, he's still got another. He'll be is he a sophomore this year? Yeah,
I think he'll be
he's
a sophomore
finishing up
next year.
Yeah, he's finishing up his sophomore year of high school. So yeah, unless he's going to reclassify, which you never know. Like that could
Right.
that can be pulled at any point. But yeah, that's a long way away.
Long way away.
That are just everything at stake for Pope this season.
Well, and that was, I guess, the other bit of news from the EYBL over the weekend. And, well, let's be real. Even if you aren't one of those guys who gets in the weeds, it's hard to get the engines revved up for next year's high school recruiting class when you're still putting together this year's team. And a part of the equation I don't think many people had considered was a potential reclass. And Ryan Hampton, who you remember when Kentucky recruited R.J. Hampton, his dad Rod played in the NBA. He is one of the top point guards in the rising senior class, and now he's considering a reclass. I appreciated the candor that Rod shared with our pal Jacob Polachek, because, sometimes in these interviews, I don't want to say they beat around the bush, but, they can be pretty cagey, if you will. Like, you don't want to put all your cards on the table. But he said, we're considering the reclass. Like, he's got to get more physical, stronger. We'll see how that goes throughout the summer, if we feel like he can do it or not. And he had some nice things to say about Kentucky's recent offer, their recruitment of him. It's all on KSR Plus. But what's it going to be? Like, what's the school? What's it ultimately going to decide this? Development, playing time, no money. We want development, we want playing time, and money is a factor. And then they were like, well, which school has the highest
triangle?
Yeah. It's like, well, which school has the highest NIL offer? And he said, think about it. Well, if we think about it, here are the schools that are involved.
He hit us with the Windhorse meme.
He really did. These are the schools that are reportedly involved. Texas, okay, they get a lot. They get a lot of money. Florida State, okay, that's a little weird. Nebraska ball, yeah. SMU, more money than God, getting pumped into the SMU Mustangs program. How much money? Who knows? But they spend it. I always enjoy. There's like a video that will go viral once a year where they just ask kids what their dad does for a living to get money, and it's all just stupid. LSU, Will Wade, strong-ass offer, and Kentucky. So think about it, Lucken. Who do you think has the strongest NIL offer?
Yeah, I mean, there's some heavy hitters in there. Yeah, you would think Kentucky's towards the top. I know LSU's got like the empty roster and.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Part of Wade going there was having a war chest, as they like to say in this space. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. But yeah,
think about it. Just think about it.
Just think about it. Yeah, him saying that makes you think, oh, there's like, especially Kentucky coming off the $20 million or whatever.
Yeah,
it the most money. It makes your mind go there immediately. Obviously.
So that was one part of the equation, but to get back to your original point of the biggest story that's sort of in a holding pattern right now, because the NBA Combine was last week, which gives us all of the stories, the interviews, how they tested, what do we think about this. It's a big trying to read the tea leaves ahead of the May 27th NBA draft withdrawal deadline. And I think last week was a lot of sort of panic because this was the first time it felt like a reality that Moreno could leave, right? Like, we knew he was going through the process. Now that you're actually seeing him go through the process, you sort of, this could happen, particularly when he doesn't do the 5-on-5 scrimmages and he says, well, my agent, my brother thought that I was in a good spot, so I'm not going through it. I think for 5 straight days, we got news that would seemingly indicate that it's a greater possibility than we had ever expected. However, I do think it's worth noting, Luckett, that That's the only news you're really going to get from this combine, right? Like when these guys do interviews, they say they're all in on the NBA because that's what you have to say. Like win in Rome, win in front of the NBA guys, you have to put your best NBA foot forward. And so that's why I did think it was worth sharing and also noteworthy that when you had Matt Norlander and Gary Parrish, two outsiders who, yes, they're college basketball guys, so they'll probably have a little bit more of a college basketball lean. But Parrish does the NBA draft stuff. He follows the Grizzlies regularly on his Memphis sports radio show. Like that is right in his wheelhouse. They both said, like, it's a 75% chance that he's coming back. That also Momcilovic is coming back because it just makes the most sense, particularly from a leverage standpoint. Because I know that Moreno seemingly signed a deal with UK, a sweetheart deal. Well, how do you make it not a sweetheart deal? You add some leverage. And that could be what Moreno's agent is in the process of doing right now as they weigh their options ahead of this May 27th deadline.
Yeah, it's very, it's just interesting how all kind of works together, right?
Yeah.
And that's, like you insinuate, basically, like Moreno he's got leverage to go back to the negotiation table.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the issue a lot of programs are having. It's like why they got rid of the spring portal, right?
Yeah.
In football.
We're giving them a second window to negotiate with portal players because, for all intents and purposes, the portal's kind of done except for the scraps and these NBA guys.
And international, or reclassifications.
Correct.
That's basically it at this point. Yeah, so you have maybe that has something to do with Kentucky, maybe the lack of movement in some other areas. They're just you got to fit the budget. Like there's only so much money in the banana stand.
Well, but there's always money in the banana stand.
There's only so much you only have one pie. Like once the pie is made, you can't go back and make it bigger, right? Like that's
true. I've tried it before and it worked horribly. You can't expand the pie.
So that's just where they're at. But with Kentucky, Nick, I mentioned this on Happy Hour last week. They're basically in desperation mode. Like,
exactly.
You can't call it anything else. So I think on the other side of desperation mode is people that know you're in desperation mode.
Oh yeah, and we'll try to milk that.
Yeah, you're not creating a situation where you have a lot of leverage, I think, in that. And so, but you got to if you're Kentucky, you just got to do what you got to do at this point. Now you can make I think the real case in it is Kentucky at this point, you got to do what you got to do. So if you got to pay Moreno more, or you got to pay Momcilovic, whatever, you got to do it. If you can get them, if that's all it takes. But I think there's another conversation to be had. You can't be if you're Kentucky in your program with all these resources, you shouldn't be in this position, right?
No.
You should be in a spot where you don't have to get strong-armed. But they're kind of setting themselves up to potentially be strong-armed, and that's part of the concern. They're just, if you're operating correctly, you're not in this kind of spot.
But
it's 2 years in a row where they're kind of where last year, you'd miss on certain guys and you got to they paid Denzel Aberdeen a bunch of money to leave Florida. Should you ever been in a spot last year where you even needed to go get Denzel Aberdeen and pay him a bunch of money? Probably not. I'm just using that as an example where this year, we're down to the wire. The Moreno stuff was out of your control, but the need for Momcilovic was in your control, in my opinion. And they played a hand and got burned on it by doing the thing they did with Stokes. And then missed on some other guys that you felt like they could get.
Well, and the Momcilovic problem isn't that, I think one of the positives is that you are one of the few schools who seemingly has the resources and the roster space where, okay, you can make a serious play, and you're one of the only few who can. But the issue is that the competition for him. And the way that Momcilovic, I think that was one thing that was at least that really popped from those interviews. He's like, if I do go back to college, I mean, this doesn't need to be some whole long process where I'm going on visits. I'll figure it out pretty quickly. And he said he wanted to play for a contender. Well, the alternatives to Kentucky are alternatives that would really pour salt on Mark Pope's wound. One of them would be the fighting Cardinal Birds at the University of Louisville, who seemingly are just saying, Kentucky, you thought you had a $22 million roster? We'll show you $22 million. Hell, we'll even pay more. The other one is Mark Pope's, the godfather, right? Rick Pitino, St. John's. And
you're missing one.
Oh, is that Will Wade in LSU? What was the other one I missed?
Look at that Tennessee team.
Yeah. I would assume Jacoby Gillespie's coming back.
I think he's done. I think he's out of eligibility.
He was out of eligibility. Okay.
But they got Juke Harris. They got the kid from VCU that had the big tournament game. And they also got there was another big guy they got from the portal. Like, they've loaded up in the portal. They probably have the best. Them or Louisville probably have the best portal class. I think it's down to those two. Like, if you're ranking them, so like they're kind of going all in, where you feel like they have a better roster. Now they're doing a portal thing that they really haven't done under Barnes. Like, usually he's been Mr. Retention and they get one like portal star.
Right.
Where this year they're just going all in on the portal. So we'll see how it works. But all three of those, I think, you add all three of those together, all three of those teams are going to be probably. I'd have to look at St. John's. I don't know where they are, but Louisville and Tennessee are going to be preseason top 5 teams. And then Duke is still being Duke. Like, it's just like it's like the worst spot ever for Kentucky fans.
But if Poper is able to pull it off, even if it's at a place of desperation, if he can get Momcilovic and Moreno, that looks like a pretty damn good team, right? Like, you can see how it all comes together, whereas that has not been the case for most of this offseason. It might have taken us a weird way to get here, but we might have finally arrived at the ultimate conclusion that works out for Big Blue Nation. I hope it happens. If you were I know percentage chance game, it's our least favorite game, but 1 out of 10, how confident are you, Adam Luckett, that Pope can pull it off? Because I feel pretty good that they're both going to come back to college basketball, but for it to actually happen, to get both of them, 5 out of 10? I don't know. I'm just
that's where I am.
You're so burnt. Yeah.
I think they get 1.
But can they get 2?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think what do you think's more likely, getting 0 or getting 2? It's close.
Yeah, it's really close. I would think getting 2 would be more likely, because for me, the Malachi Moreno's upside and what he can make guaranteed in a year, it just makes so much more sense that I would think having the Georgetown kid return to play for Kentucky, like, it going right to the NBA now, as fun as it may sound while he's going through the process, I think just makes so much more sense a year from now, particularly from a player who has been a great story in development. I remember Scoots calling his game when he was a junior in the 11th region tournament and thinking, this kid really, they're talking him up a big game, but he doesn't really want to play down low. Like, he wants to face the basket and kind of be away from it, but he's 7 feet tall. He needs to get down. Junior to senior year, from a footwork, from a physicality standpoint, took a great step forward. And then you saw it this season, but he kind of wore down at the end of the year. I think he is just the picture-perfect example of what rev share NIL can do for player development at the college level, to be NBA ready and be a lottery pick when it's his time. I don't think it's his time yet, so that's why I do think it would be more likely they get 2 than none.
Financially, you can make the argument it makes the most sense for both parties. Now, are they willing to do that? Like, because at the end of the day, like, the whole goal is to get to the NBA for both of these guys. So do they want to bet on themselves? Because long term, the money that they're going to make is going to be better than right, obviously.
Yeah.
So you got to make you're making a business decision at the end of the day. So
Well,
do you take the short-term guarantee, or do you feel good about your long-term prospects of making it as a pro? So it just depends.
and like in Momchilovic's case too, there could be I'm just ready to get the hell out of college deal. I mean,
That's what it kind of smells and sounds like when you hear him talk.
Right. Which hopefully he's not. Hopefully he's ready to catch a few more NIL checks in Lexington. But we're still playing the waiting game in the mulling month of May. If you're mulling on something right now and you want to text it in the show, hit us up on the Gameday Men's Health text line. 502-414-1450 is the number. Did I get that right? 502-414-1450. See, I still got my fastball. It's been a while. We're not down. We're not completely out for the count. We're hanging out with you for the next 90 minutes here on the Big X Sports Radio. So give us a shout on that Game Day Men's Health text line. Visit GameDayMensHealth.com for all your men's health needs, peptides, sexual performance, whatever it may be. Game Day Men's Health has you covered, and we got you covered here on the Big X Sports Radio. He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. Don't go anywhere. More Kentucky Roll Call right after this.
Things were never gonna change. It used to be that I never.
Folks, Isaac Ellis is going to be a Cardinal next year. The amount of people that tagged me on those tweets or those Instagram posts yesterday, I was like, I get it. I'll trust him on that front, but I am not expecting him to be a big-time difference maker on this 26-27 team.
The Mike Rutherford Show, weekday afternoons at 2:30, followed by the Ticket Punchers at 5:30 on the Big X Sports Radio.
Swing into the action at Park Mammoth Golf Club, a breathtaking and challenging course just off I-65 in Park City, Kentucky. Stay in the know with the Park Mammoth Golf Club app. Get course updates, special offers, GPS, gift cards, and easy tee time bookings. After your round, unwind at the Mammoth Grill, where delicious food meets stunning course views in our brand new clubhouse. Visit parkmammothgolfclub.com and experience the best in golf today.
Spice up your office parties and home get-togethers with Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. Enjoy real, fresh food, including their famous craveable queso and chips. Catering is available for delivery, setup, or pickup. Call now. Salsaritas.
Check the back seat.
All right, come here.
Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
The plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC technicians of Local 502's commitment to excellence can be seen in our community every day. The KFC Yum Center, Ford Motor Company, and the Omni Hotel are just a few examples of their professional craftsmanship. Local 502 has been part of our community for over a century and invests over $1 million annually training skilled local workers. Members of Local 502 are your friends, neighbors, and children's coaches. For more information, go to lu502.com. Local 502, built on excellence, building a better tomorrow.
Cards fans, incubate your inner entrepreneur with U of L's top-ranked Innovation MBA. In just 12 months, gain the confidence and connections needed to spark your entrepreneurial spirit. Learn best practices from U of L's award-winning faculty, serial entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and national business leaders, all while competing for thousands of dollars in startup funding in business plan competitions. Start your journey today. Visit business.louisville.edu/U of L MBA.
Hey, this is General Manager Troy Miles here at the Big X. If you're in the roofing business, plumbing, window company, luxury cars and trucks, hormone replacement, If you're into recruiting or wealth management, I have something to talk to you about. The audience at WXVW is men with money, the guys who make decisions and spend big. And we've got an opening for category exclusive advertising. That means when you partner with us, you're the only game in town. At the Big X, we specialize in taking the little guys and turn them into the big guys. No fluff, no waste, just smart advertising that works. We've done it before, and we're ready to do it with you. But spots are limited. Call me today at 502-259-8085. That's 502-259-8085.
Things will never be the same now. I wanna go back and do it all over, but I can't.
Welcome back in, Kentucky Roll Call 111 personnel takeover here on your Monday, May 18th. I'm Nick Roush. He's Adam Luckett. And during the break, Luckett, I was doing my scrolling. There's a Kentucky football recruit, Dominic Black, four-star offensive tackle. He's visiting next month. People forget that Pat Fitzgerald is the Michigan State head football coach.
Yeah, that kind of, if you weren't paying attention, that slipped through the cracks for sure.
That's definitely going to surprise some people as we get closer to college football season. Everybody, huh? Pat Fitzgerald? Back? Yeah, back in the Big Ten.
He weirdly looks like the mascot.
Yeah, I got that big old blockhead. Pat Fitzgerald, too, for as great as he was at Northwestern, really stunk there at the end. The NIL era, not kind, and, things are a little bit different at Northwestern. Probably more of a challenge than a place like Michigan State where he'll be in East Lansing this fall. But Northwestern, we're getting the new football stadium this fall, when was the last time a new college football stadium was built? Not just like a renovation, but a brand new football-only stadium. Did USF get one? Or are they still at Raymond James?
They're building it right now.
So that's one. Maybe the Bounce House at UCF.
Minnesota's not that old. It's
Okay.
about a decade old.
But yeah, that you very rarely see it. They'd rather spend their money on practice facilities and coaches' salaries.
There's been a couple recent ones, but I'm trying to think of like teams that people would care about. Most times it's, to your point, it's a renovation.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of groups
SMU? That's a new stadium, right?
They've had that one forever. They just kind of renovated it and stuff.
Okay.
Like Colorado State is within the last decade.
Oh, yeah. Fort Collins.
San Diego State's probably the most recent one because they were
Yeah.
playing the Chargers' old stadium, Qualcomm, and they built their own facility. They've probably been there like 3 or 4 years now. That's probably the most recent one. But
Okay.
yeah, most of them are kind of group of 6.
Yeah, in football, we're about 100 days away. Like you said earlier, Big Ten spring meetings, they're underway this week. SEC next week. And with it, if you follow college football online, you're going to get lots of 2014 playoff stories because Jim Phillips, the ACC commissioner, essentially hopped on board last week. Tony Petitti's been driving that ship for a while. And now Greg Sankey's really the last holdout. And if you were online over the weekend, Danny Cannell and Bud Elliott, the Cover 3 boys, they tell you that Sankey's only doing it because he wants the money to himself. I don't know what, essentially, why they decided they were going to spearhead. They basically collectively decided we are going to be the mouthpieces for the 2014 playoff. And I'm curious how much their relationship with the Big Ten and CBS plays into this. But nevertheless, it was very fun watching Danny Cannell get dunked on, Luckett, because it was my For You page was just people dunking on Danny Cannell on Saturday afternoon. I'm scrolling, looking for posts, just laughing at all these people dunking on Danny Cannell. And I bring this up mostly to say that I really appreciated the column that not Bud Elliott, but Bill Connolly constructed for ESPN this week, because just one line in it said what needed to be said from a rational, level-headed view. A 2014 playoff would fundamentally change a fan's relationship with college football in a way that no other recent changes have.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the arguments that Elliott and Cannell make. Danny's are dumb. Like, he's like self-owning himself in so many ways. He used Alabama as an example of one. Like, look at this regular season. There weren't any close games. It's like, well, they beat like 5 top 10 teams. They played a great schedule. They were just awesome that year. Elliott's point is, hey, NIL is dispersing the talent. We need to act accordingly. All right, I can hear that argument out a little bit better. But the way that your Josh Pates of the world have argued for years about the diminishing value of the regular season, Connolly kind of put that on paper and said, hey, all these rivalry week games that actually impacted the playoff, the rivalry games wouldn't matter because both teams would be in the playoffs. Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan would have been comfortably in. Texas A&M, both would have been comfortably in. Like, a lot of these teams, it wouldn't have mattered. But the reason why, like, we don't have to have this long playoff talk like it. I know you're probably pro-expansion because you love expanding NCAA tournament and March Madness. You love expansion all the time. But I did want to bring up something that I think is, like, this is why Bill Connolly is great at his job, is because he doesn't simply react to the narrative. He throws out stuff that other people aren't thinking about. And this is flex scheduling in college football. We have flex scheduling in the NFL for primetime games, which I enjoyed this year because I got to watch my Pittsburgh Steelers win and get into the playoffs in Week 18. Like that, having a Sunday Night Football game with stakes to end the regular season, that was awesome. That is what Connolly is essentially proposing in lieu of conference title games. Or no, I think he would keep the conference championship games, but in order to take a week off, rivalry week would be like you would have rivalry week and then one more week where, all right, let's see who can win.
It's like a bracket buster thing, if you remember bracket busters, where they just made the matchups like a week before for mid-major. So you would just, like SEC, like Kentucky would play LSU in his example. They would try to make it as, I don't know, as even as possible. So everyone gets that, you know,
like
that point.
Oklahoma and Vandy, very similar resumes. Oklahoma had a better schedule, so they got in, but Vandy had more wins. They could play each other for an essential play-in game.
Mm-hmm.
This is a crazy idea, but it's one so crazy it just might work. And it also made me realize that the Pac-12 is actually doing it this year because they don't have enough teams in their league. So they're
right. They're doing round robin plus one. Yeah.
And the part that I think I like most about it, there was, I know our guy J.D. Piquel and a few other people, it was one of those, like, it's May, we got nothing to talk about. Look how loaded this schedule is on November. Chances are half those teams won't be in the top 25 by then. Having a flex portion of a schedule makes, like, it forces you to let the schedule play out some so you know who's good or not. Like South Carolina this year, like, it is a fascinating football team. They could be back in the mix come playoff time, or Shane Beamer could be fired.
Right. He could be, yeah. He could either be playing for a playoff spot or coaching for his job. Like, it feels like it's one of the two.
Lenore Sellers is back. They went all in on this offensive tackle who got hurt playing basketball. But, like, they could be a really good football team if he got this offensive coordinator hire right with the TCU kid. I say kid. Yeah. That's a team that when we're handicapping Kentucky's schedule, it's really hard to kind of get a beat on, right? Where come mid-November, you're looking into the schedule and you pit them against Tennessee or Florida or Oklahoma, and it's kind of a win or get in scenario. These are the changes that I'm for. I'm not for the let's just all of a sudden panic and jump into a 2014 playoff when, you know what? The 12's been kind of fun. I know that these teams want more revenue. These conferences, these programs want more net revenue. But do we have to break glass in case of emergency right away? I'm not ready to do it, Luckett. Are you ready to do it?
Okay. You remember I was against expanding to 12.
Very much so.
I thought the 4-team had been. I don't know if it necessarily was good for the sport. I've argued that for a while, but we've already moved past that, so I'm not going to sit here and yell at a cloud. I have a problem, Nick, with 10-2 Vanderbilt not making a 12-team playoff. And if you're like a Kentucky, per se,
yeah, that could be you.
If you can't get in at 10-2. Like, F this system. Like honestly, I'd rather, because what we've done is we've made bowl games meaningless. So, like, there was a world where, Kentucky could go 10-2 and really go to a good bowl game, and that season is memorable. Where now it's not. Now you could argue like, who's at fault for this and whatnot, and that's fine, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Like, if you're going to have teams like that, they've got to be able to get in the playoff. I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at. So, yeah, I'm for the expansion because of that. And I hear the regular season meaningless argument, but in my opinion, expanding to 12 made it more meaningful this past year.
Yeah.
So, maybe it looks different at 24. Maybe I'm wrong. But, we've got mega conferences now. So I think that's just the collateral damage of that. You're going to have to let more teams in. And bowl games are, I enjoy them still, but they just feel like we're on our last leg here.
But my question to you though, could 16 be a fair compromise to
I think
reach
it could.
that
I think maybe that's what the SEC is playing for. Now the SEC, that it's a money thing. Like, they don't want to get rid of this conference championship game.
Right.
And we're going to find out find out at least something here next week, Destin, at SEC meetings. But that's a big money maker for the league, and it's money they don't have to share with anyone else, right? Where if you get more playoff games, you're going to have to share it with the league. And another thing with the SEC, there's people speaking out against Sankey, like Danny White, Greg Byrne. You've got coaches fighting publicly. Like, this didn't happen 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, the house is a little out of order over there for Sankey. So he's got a lot of stuff he's got to, I think, clean up. I think it's going to be an interesting May and July when he talks, just kind of what the messaging is on a lot of this stuff.
Think basket weaving will come up in conversation?
Maybe. So, there's just a lot going on with him. But I definitely think 16 could be a compromise. And with the thing with this is like the Big 12 and ACC can say what they want. We support this. It holds no weight. They don't decide at all. Like, it's basically Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, Tony Patini, Big Ten commissioner. They have authoritative power to determine the future of the college football playoff, and they have that through 2032, I believe, because of a contract. All the conferences agreed to give them kind of this power in this last batch of contracts. And I think the setup is it has to be 100%. Like, they have to be together. So, if they're split, I think they just keep what it is. And so,
which is what happened last year, because I think they were trying to do the 16 and nobody could agree, so the can got kicked down the road for another year.
This time last year, it was around the time Patiti came out with the whole guaranteed bids.
Yeah.
What was it? I think it was 4-4-2-2. And then 3 at-larges for 16.
I believe so, yeah.
Am my math right there? 4 at-larges, I think. 4-4 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 4. 12. And then 4 at-larges. One of those at-larges was a group of 6 champion. So I guess there was 3 at-larges, 1 group of 6 champion. So 4-4-2-2-1. But, there was a lot of blowback with that. And so somehow he's gotten them, I think, in the boat for 24. But I think it's just more access. I really do think, part of this is a system we've created where it's just playoff or bust. Week 2, they're talking about playoff bracket on game day.
Yeah.
It's just okay, but if we're gonna do this, like I think we've got to get it to where everyone's in, and then then you stop talking about that so much because then you just you don't have to talk about who's in the playoff. To talk about the big brands already in the playoff. So
right.
I don't know. I think it's just where we're headed. The bowl games. I just don't know how you still continue them. And I know they make money, but if you're just replacing them with extra playoff games, you're probably going to make more money. So that's kind of my stance on it. My worry is Kentucky go 10-2 and not make this 12-team playoff, and that would be brutal.
Yeah.
Then it's like, what are we even doing?
Right.
This is worse than to me for Kentucky. It's worse than the last system. If you can't get in a 12-teamer.
Big bracket Luckett. He loves the big brackets. Expansion. He's an expansionist. Manifest destiny.
I mean, imagine this fan base if Kentucky goes 10-2 and they didn't make a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
With a Heisman Trophy contending quarterback. You had and you were in Vanderbilt was in the national talk all year.
Yeah.
They were on the big games, all of that. And they did exactly what we all thought an SEC team would have to do to get into the playoff. And they didn't get in. It would just be – and the games they lost were, at Alabama and at Texas. Right?
Yeah.
They were games that went down, were decided in the fourth quarter.
Yep. And
imagine
really,
that was Kentucky.
They were a slippery onside kick away from pulling off that comeback at Texas, too.
Right. So, if that team can't get in the playoff, then that to me that means the Kentucky team that goes 10-2 cannot make the playoff. And if that team can't make the playoff, what are we even doing?
Well, apparently expanded to 24. Adam Luckett, he's leading the charge. Adam Luckett and Danny Cannell, big 24 team guys. They're all in. I'm just busting your chops.
Toothpaste out of the tube at this point. Once you expanded it to 12, I knew we were moving down this. I knew we were moving down to where we wouldn't have bowl games anymore. Once you did the 12, and that's just where we're at, in my opinion.
If you think Luckett's an idiot, text on into the Gameday Men's Health. Text on 502-414-1450. Two of the smartest football minds. You guys both do amazing work. See, UK Rob, he's a fan of Big Bracket Luckett. He's a big fan. So I ultimately, I think my biggest thing, Luckett, I just want to get to a point where I just want to reach the final destination.
Yeah.
That's the part that's with all of this stuff, right? Portal, we are in this transition period, and it can just get exhausting. And you know what? This week, we're supposed to hear about some legislation that is bipartisan that's going to put actual guardrails in and blah, 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 blah. I'll believe it when I see it. Congress, I've been told that Congress was going to do something for many years. They do nothing.
They're getting there, but that stuff takes time, right? So, that's just the bottom line.
Yeah. So we are continuing to play the waiting game in Mulling May. It is the mullingest May that we've ever had. But there were some big sporting events over the weekend. The PGA Championship had plenty of local flavor. We had the former Louisville golfer Schmid, who was it Matthew Schmid? Is that his first name?
Matty.
Oh, yeah, you can't win when you're Matty Schmid. Matt Schmid can win. Matthew Schmid. Matty Schmid can't win a major. Right? You can't. Matty is a woman or a 12-year-old on your Little League team. You got to grow out of Matty. So
Matty Mock.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a fun little blast from the past. But he was near the top of the leaderboard, and, hell, half the day you had a 1-2 punch with him at the top and Justin Thomas rallying early to get to 5 under. Had too rough of a Saturday. He was sitting there at 5 under for a long time, Luckett. Was waiting for 3 hours throughout the final round to see if he would get a potential playoff. I wanted the playoff so bad, Luckett. I was like, let's bogey a couple holes. You get John Rahm. He was hanging around 5 under. Let's put some pressure on these guys I've never heard of. Play them alongside some of the big names, throw them in one big group together. I wanted the playoff to happen so badly, but Aaron Rye just wouldn't let us get done. And I don't even know if it's Aaron Rye or Ray because I had it on muted volume all day. It was just kind of the background screen throughout Sunday at the Roush House.
I believe it's Rye.
2 Gloves Rye.
Mr. 2 Gloves.
Oh, yeah.
Iron covers.
Different kind of cat.
Different kind of cat. First Englishman to win the PGA in 100 years.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, that is crazy. To me, Nick, he just played rock solid golf. And then Like you go into Sunday, they were going low. Like you saw it with JT. It was like, okay, which one of these guys in his top 15 is going to shoot 65? Because you knew it would be one of them. Like by odds, one of them's going to do it because the course was playing low if you were hitting and putting well, and that's exactly what he did. So
he hit that bomb on 16. That's one of those putts that you think has a chance, and then bam, and that was the exclamation
like, at least
point.
he got to have the moment. Like that was the moment.
Yeah,
of the tournament for him.
That was, and that's kind of I think what we needed as casual viewers, because that was the disappointing part. Is you had, I want to say, 34 golfers within 4 strokes of the lead going into Sunday. So there's just this huge sort of jumble, and you wanted to see the big names make a move, and that's typically what happens at the PGA, right? You get some of the big names that are all contending, fighting for the top spot, but ultimately Aaron Ra, he survived, he advanced, he wins the PGA, and as dorky as the iron covers look, the story behind them makes me be like, okay, this is cool, because he didn't come from a lot of money. His dad probably didn't have the money to pay for his club, so he took care of him, put the covers on, used tees to kind of scrape them clean the irons after every round. And so to see that guy go from, obscurity. Had you heard of this guy before this weekend?
Yeah, he's been on like the top 50 fringe. Like you'll see him at tournaments, and like I don't think he was on the Ryder Cup team last year, but he was one of the he was on the bubble kind of thing. But like to your point, he wasn't he's not the top. He wasn't a top 25 player. He's more like a top 50-ish player. They do these events now, Nick, on the PGA Tour, where they'll have I can't think of how they call it, but it's kind of like a premium event.
Right,
so
yeah. The more money events. Yeah.
Less players, so players can win more money. So then they'll have alternate events on the same weekend. Well, he was playing in the alternate event last weekend.
Huh.
So he wasn't even in the premium event, the Truist Championship, where he was, or they said he had to go to Myrtle Beach last weekend to play. So yeah, this would be a career win for him. Like he'll probably be the only major he ever wins, but this will be, it locks him into some other majors. He's probably going to make the next Ryder Cup team because of this. So big moment for him, and a solid golfer. Like he's not just somebody who came out of absolute nowhere. I would say he's been on the radar here the last couple of years. So,
and he finally gets his big win.
First top 15 finish in a major. So he just put when he put it together, he finished the deal. So you got to give him a lot of credit. And there's been a lot of talk, I think, in the golf space, just what even is the PGA Championship? Because you know what you're getting at the Masters. You know what you're getting in the British Open, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's windy, it's going to be tough. But if it's not, you can really score at the British Open. You know what the U.S. Open is going to be. But we don't really know what the PGA is going to be. Because, this tournament played totally different than Valhalla.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
Are you trying to be like a mini U.S. Open? Or are you trying to be like the American tournament, which is, I think, what some people think it should be? It should just be a birdie party. And so people are trying to figure out because the PGA, it feels like it doesn't have a real identity where all these other places, all these other tournaments have this true identity.
Yeah, and the way it was described going into it, where they're like, hey, it's wide open. You can hit it hard, hit it far. Just got to be putting well to score. I thought we were going to get slow scores.
The greens were brutal. The greens and around the green were brutal.
Well, and the Philly fans, I love that they seemingly got to Rory, which Rory is my new favorite hate watch.
Which was they're like the clubhouse favorite. Rank American cities that could get to Rory McIlroy, and Philly is at the top.
Oh, he had a guy kicked out. That's just it's such a Rory thing to do. I loved it. I love seeing it. Rory, he hung around until he until he imploded. It was also funny. I saw a shot where Spieth had, because Spieth was a little bit farther back, still seeking that career Grand Slam. And he had a putt that would have gotten him 3 shots back, and he started walking towards it as soon as he left as soon as he touched it. And I was, man, I loved it. Hell, I thought he had a chance to go in, but he was like, nope, this ain't happening.
Yeah, I'm assuming Scotty Scheffler is a Cowboys fan.
I would guess he's a Texas guy. Aren't they all?
So like certain points in the broadcast, like Eagles chants were breaking out as he was walking down. It's like-
Oh, that's awesome.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I did enjoy some of that. Yeah, and I actually like the tournaments when they play like that. Like it's one of my favorite ones to watch. But to each your own.
Well, we got to get to our break. An hour, it's already flown by. We talked football, we talked basketball. Triple Crown was over the weekend, and plenty of more fun stuff. The Bad Cats couldn't get the series win. We'll talk that ahead of the SEC tournament with KSR's baseball guy, Adam Luckett, and much more right after this. He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. This is Kentucky Roll Call on the Big X Sports Radio.
The world as we know it, it's the end of the world as we know it, it's the
Only locally owned sports talk. The Big X, AM 1450 and 96.1 FM, WXVW Jeffersonville.
Hey there, New Albany. This is Mayor Jeff Gahan. It's another year here in our River City, and what better time to show your support for our high school's athletic programs. Whether it's basketball or football, track and field or soccer, swimming or tennis, our Bulldogs are giving it their all on the field and court. So let's rally behind them, New Albany. Come out to the games, cheer them on, and let's make some noise. Let's show everyone what it means to be a part of the best city in southern Indiana. Go Bulldogs.
Louisville's longest-running pro sports team is back. Louisville Bats Baseball at Louisville Slugger Field. Family-friendly entertainment at budget-friendly prices. See future Cincinnati Reds in action. To plan your day at the ballpark, visit batsbaseball.com.
check the back seat. All right, come here. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you've been hurt in a car accident or hurt on the job, there's only one law firm to call. Call my friend Tony at the Collier Law Firm at 502-736-8141. Tony will get you paid. This guy used to work for the insurance company, so he knows the other team's playbook. Tony's a die-hard Cardinal fan. His family's from Portland and Shively, and he grew up in Fern Creek. With that combination, you know this man can fight and win. In an accident or hurt on the job, call Collier Law Firm. That's C-O-L-Y-E-R Law Firm. Call today.
Creamer's Smoke Shop, your one-stop smoke shop since 1914. We've got the largest cigar selection, wooden pipes, and loose and tinned pipe tobacco. Right off 64 and 71 at 1839 Brownsboro Road. Call 502-584-3332.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Defining a new era in men's health, Gameday Men's Health delivers real results with no shortcuts. From testosterone replacement, weight loss to peptides, vitamins, and sexual performance therapy, Gameday Men's Health will have you covered. Their in-house lab gives you answers in just 15 minutes. And our clinic is designed for men who value privacy, speed, and results. Visit GamedayMensHealth.com. Real men, real science, most importantly, real change. Visit GamedayMensHealth.com.
There is nothing better than a great golf outing to Christmas Lake Golf Course in Santa Claus. You'll love the scenery and especially the fully stocked golf shop with great prices. Christmas Lake Golf Course offers Monday and Tuesday specials along with afternoon and twilight specials too. Call 877-XMIS-GOLF. That's 877-962-7465 option 1. Or go to ChristmasLakeGolfClub.com for more information on the upcoming events at Christmas Lake Golf Course in Santa Claus, Indiana.
At Myers Collision Center, they can help with minor dings to major structural work. Myers Collision Center gives fast, free estimates with a lifetime warranty on workmanship. Myers Collision Center is trusted by thousands of drivers in the community. And they've been voted best auto body shop in Clarksville since 2024. So the next time you have an accident, remember Myers Collision Center can take you from to Myers Collision Center. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Or stop by in Southern Indiana at 2803 Blackiston Mill Road. Online at MyersCollisionCenter.com.
When design is key to your landscape project, give Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge has more experience than any landscape company in the area. Remember, Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key to your project and you want the most experienced landscaping company in the area. Give Walnut Ridge a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design, when design is key.
Showers and thunderstorms will be possible mainly north and west of Louisville this afternoon, early evening. For the rest of the area, staying dry and hot. High temperature in Louisville, good chance to crack 90 for the first time this year, and I'm sure it won't be the last. For tonight, very warm in the 70s for lows. More showers and storms tomorrow. Again, higher potential, mainly north and west. Wave Storm Tracking Team, I'm Brian Good.
This is Dugan Ryan. I would love the opportunity to talk with you about how we can help grow your business and have your business's brand associated with Big X Sports Radio. Give me a call today at 812-725-1457.
Welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call.
I think we ain't done yet. You personally, I think we ain't done yet.
With Walker and Peak.
Welcome back in, Kentucky Roll Call. Hour number 2. I'm Nick Roush. He's Adam Luckett. This is an 11 personnel takeover while Stephen Peak takes over the West Coast, doing a little late honeymooning during the early days of summer. Memorial Day weekend's coming up. Luckett, are you do the Lucketts have big plans for Memorial Day weekend, or are you planning on sticking around Hoover for the whole time?
I will be running the site on Sunday. Then we got the selection show on Monday, NCAA College Baseball Selection Show. Then I'll be most likely booking a trip to go to the regional. So that is the weekend I have. Nick, I don't know if I'll still be in Hoover come the weekend. We'll see what Kentucky does, but it's going to be tough to climb out of that first day all the way to the quarterfinals or even the semifinals. You're going to burn through the pitching fast in this kind of tournament setup.
Especially after you watched the pitching last weekend, because Kentucky played 3 games against Arkansas. They got one to get to that magic number of 13, but they had to bring in their ace in relief to get it done. Jackson Jelkin came in, closed them out on Thursday night, but Luckett, I know you can share some more perspective on this. I just get so damn irritated when they leave runners on, and that's what they did back-to-back nights. I think they were 0 for 9 runners in scoring position, and then 2 of 12 with runners in scoring position in Game 2. And it's like you have the opportunity to win it, just go win it. And then Saturday, that game just went to absolute banana land. That was 10-0 in the opening frame. You're down, climb all the way
11-0 in the third.
And yet still you climb all the way back in the 5th inning to tie it at 12, only to end up losing by 4 runs. Like, what the hell? What the hell's going on with the Batcats, Luckett?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of how this season has been. When Jackson Jelkin pitches, they typically win. When he doesn't, against SEC competition, they typically lose. And that's just how this season has played out really throughout the year. Now, the good thing, Jelkin, I actually think Nick Mingione, in hindsight, I think he handled that the right way. I think that was good managing. We got to get one, but we got a chance to win it. Our bullpen has just been a disaster really all season. We've got a lead here. Let's win this now. Where I think their best chance to win the series, Nick, would have been to see if the bullpen can close it down on Thursday. But that weekend was more about just making sure you got one, making sure you didn't get swept. With their RPI, as long as they got to 13 SEC wins, they're probably getting in the tournament. And so he made the right decision, in my opinion.
Well, did they? Or do we think that the NCAA will be mad enough at Nick Mingione for canceling the game against NKU?
I mean, the NCAA's track record is not good on these, like, kind of, don't do this.
Yeah.
I will punish you. I think what you'll see happen maybe is like they'll change some like ways in the future, but I don't think that'll have an impact. Yeah, I'd be surprised. Even if it did, I think they're still Baseball America had their bracket projection today, and Kentucky wasn't even on the bubble. They're one of the higher 3 seeds. So I think they're going to be in. You just look at the big thing. They've got quality wins. They've got 7 quad 1 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to separate them from a lot of other guys on the bubble, other teams on the bubble, and their non-conference RPI, which is like, okay, they played a tough SEC, but they went out and like they played a good non-conference schedule. And they're like 14th. Their top 15 non-con schedule They've got 7 quad 1 wins. Like, I just think they're getting in.
The frustrating from part from a casual fan is just that, they're getting wins, but they're not winning series. Was it just
it's the same? It's what you're watching the same movie over and over and over this year.
I mean, they lost some 7, 8 straight Sundays, or SEC series.
They were 0-7 in rubber matches. They finished the season 2-8 in series finales. Their 2 wins were Alabama, first series of the year, which was a sweep, which they had to hold on to a lead late, and then that South Carolina series where they lost the first 2, and then needed like a big eighth inning comeback to win the game.
So it's been, and the other part of it too, from just, I mean, might be more of an indictment on me. Every time I turn it on in a kind of gotta have it situation, they just don't have it. They never have it. It's a close game. All right, well, let me see what they do here. Friday night, 1-run game, guys on second and third, just hit the ball in the outfield and you take the lead going into the ninth. Nope, not happening. Like that's what, like, I think the way that the TJ and I would always describe it is Kentucky baseball, you just want something to kind of delay the offseason, right? You want to give a team that's fun to cheer for before you kind of get into the dog days of summer radio, offseason, whatever you want to call it. And this was supposed to be a team that was built for that, but they keep you leaving you wanting more, and that's what's frustrating is they're going to go down to Hoover, and you know what? Maybe they win a game or 2 next week, and that could be cool. Or it's weather delays, and you can never catch them in the right. Like that could be a whole mess. But you like going into a NCAA tournament regional with the belief that you can get out of that and get to a super. And last year you were a little worried, but you know what? They made you believe, and they actually had a chance there late in the regional final. But I'm not going to have that sense of belief this year because just when Jackson Jelkin's not pitching, who is? Who can get it done? Who do you trust? And I can't. There's
to your original point, like you just want a team to keep your interest throughout the year. You feel like they've been really close to that.
Yeah.
Like so close because they do have, like they've got an awesome frontline starter. You've seen like real explosion moments from the offense. I think they've got a couple guys that could be, Tyler Bell's already a star. He's going to be a 5 draft pick, but they got some other like young guys that are really coming on. But they just can't. At the end of the day, the bullpen has just sunk this team. So pitching depth is just, you got to have pitching depth. Kentucky hasn't had it. It's been disappointing. Starters been in and out of the lineup with Ben Cleaver and Nate Harris. They're both kind of back now. They both have had some good moments, so we'll see if that carries over into the postseason. But at the end of the day, the game gets into the bullpen, and they just have come up on the short end of the stick way more times, and they've kind of pulled one out. And it's just crazy, like to play 7 games. And of those 7, I would say off the top of my head, 5 they had a chance to win in the late innings.
Yeah.
That you can get none of them is just it's just pretty cool. Ole Miss was crazy, like was one of those games like Arkansas this past weekend. Arkansas, that's to LSU. They were up 7-0, end up losing that game 17-7. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Vanderbilt, it was a 1-run game going to the 9th inning. Tennessee was another Sunday game they lost. That one was neck and neck the whole game. It's just been like, how did they lose all of these? But you look up and they've lost all of them. It's just been a really frustrating season. Florida, they were in it for a lot of the game. It's just that you were able to lose all of them. It's just been head scratching. But like I've said, on Pump It Up podcast this past week, in case our YouTube channel, like the Florida game that they blew on Friday night, where they were up 5-1 and blew it, like. If you were just airplaning in, how did they lose that game? But if you watch this team all year, you're like, yeah, you aren't surprised at all. This was just, you knew that was in play. And that's just what this team has been this year. But the good thing about it is you got Jelkin for one of these games where you could really scare, I think, a regional host if you can steal a win before playing the regional host. So there's like a path, I think, to you getting there potentially. But But then you get to the third and fourth game, it's hard to envision how you win those.
Right.
But you're going to have to get into that bullpen.
Well, who knows how Kentucky will start it off from the pitching perspective. Will they just roll out Jelkin right away? Who knows? But Tuesday is when the Batcats will be in action. It's TBD. I would guess that would be around noon 1. The first game would end.
First game is at
9:30.
It's
Central.
10:30 Eastern, so that game's probably going to end between 1:30 and 2, so you're looking at like a 2:30 to 3 start time down there in Hoover.
So are you taking off this afternoon?
Tomorrow morning, leaving first thing in the morning.
Oh, so the coffee mug's going to be full.
The Duncan's getting a stop, maybe 2 stops on the way down there.
There we go. So yeah, and if you're making the trip down to Hoover, say hey to Luckett. Find some recommendations. It is this would be a very fun event to.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it because I've heard good things.
Yeah.
I want to walk around, see the old RV lot because I know everything. By my understanding, everything's on that complex.
It's a very large complex too.
Yeah, so people park there. They park the RVs there, tailgate. They have a fan center there, do stuff with kids, all of that good stuff. And so everyone that goes to it really likes it. So I'm excited to see it for the first time.
Frank Roush, big fan of the Hoover Met complex. He still talks about the playground with the tree. So if you're bringing your kids down there, the playground with the tree, it's a big hit in the Roush family. We've got a couple heavy hitters on the Gameday Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. South End Josh is chiming in, one of our favorites over on the KS board. The whiny ACC and its barely Power 5 conference is crying to get more of their below-average teams in the playoff. They need to sit down, shut up, and be grateful the SEC and Big Ten allow them to even have a seat at the table. Someone tell the ACC they just need to be seen and not heard going forward and let the adults handle things.
Oh, South End Josh. It's usually the Kentucky athletic department getting the criticism from him, but good to see. Like he spreads the wealth. He shares it.
Oh man, I did enjoy quite a bit. I was listening to a Will Stein interview, and it's one of those things. When you got these long weekends where you got to post a dozen things and nothing's happening, it's like, oh, there's this graphic of Kentucky winning 14 top 25 games in the playoff era. That's a fun weekend post. When Will Stein took a subtle jab at Louisville over that graphic during an interview, I was like, man, this is just speaking directly to South End Josh. This level of pettiness.
Yes.
To be able to pinpoint your opponent's, your rival's win-loss record. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Which, speaking of Will Stein, Kentucky football recruiting, that's something we're following close. And I know, like you said from the jump, that it's a quiet time, but there are more and more players announcing decisions. Kentucky, 5. Is it 5 or up to 6? They're going for a 6th straight week with a 4-star commitment. That could happen tomorrow. Miles Brown, 4-star cornerback from Martin, Tennessee. That's right there by Fort Campbell across the border. They've got a big-time cornerback in Miles Brown who's announcing a decision. Tennessee was a long time considered the favorite, but cornerbacks coach Alan Brown been making a hard push for the Cats. Jay Bateman got down there last week. Cats visited twice in 2 weeks, and we got some RPM picks for the Cats to land Brown, including one from yours truly. That's happening tomorrow. And then Mason Ball announcing his decision, the Arkansas running back. That's happening on Saturday, I believe. So
23rd.
Getting more and more decisions early in the process. I thought the bit of news that slid under the radar for me was that Jatori Williams said, actually, I'm not going to commit this week, which I don't know about you, Lucky, but that's great news for Kentucky. Because it looked like it was all Miami.
Right.
Deciding to actually go through with his official visits, I think ultimately is good news for Kentucky as they try to land a top 200 recruit offensive lineman from Alabama.
Right. That's one of their bigger targets, one of the more higher-ranked targets on the board, Jatori Williams. Yeah, if he announced this week, Nick, Kentucky was not going to be the pick. And he's going to be in on that big June 19th weekend, which is Kentucky's biggest official visit weekend of the summer, and looks like July 4th announcement he's locked in for. So he's going to go through his visits, and Kentucky's going to have a chance here.
Yeah, certainly. And, that program, Phoenix City Central, they pump out college prospects. It's one of the best programs in Alabama, regularly winning state titles. J.Q. Hardaway went there. Kim Coleman, he's the one that is the most notable, made the move from Auburn to A&M this offseason.
Here's a fun one, guys.
More locally, though, our friends at Rivals, they updated their 2028 rankings. Normally, I'm not over here making it a radio topic that, hey, the rising juniors just got a ratings update, but fuck it. Keelan Hall is now the number 4 player in the class. Kid at Christian Academy. I mean, top 5 player in the state of Kentucky. Like that just doesn't happen in the state of Kentucky. That's significant.
Yeah, it's going to be a war, right? A recruiting war over there for him. Obviously, Louisville with the Chris Vaughn relationship with Vince are going to be a big factor there. But Kentucky also has made a big push for Hall. He's at Cal. Will Stein's got a lot of connections on that Cal staff. And then there's the other schools you're going to have to deal with and fight for.
Ohio State.
Everyone in the country is recruiting this kid. So that's going to be a fun storyline, I think, to follow in 28. And even through the season, like where he visits this season, right? And just where that goes. Because part of the reason Kentucky lost out on Seneca Driver, tight end at Boyle County, was kind of this past season, right? Like the relation back to last summer. It just kind of dried up. Other schools surged ahead of Kentucky. And then the new staff gets in here, and it was a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah.
Where now they're going to be able to kind of build this relationship throughout this year and then really have a really good shot at it, I think, when we're at this time next year, whenever he, wants to come off the board. So really important time in that recruitment.
He's already visited Kentucky twice, one during spring practice. I think the other was for a junior day. And so you have sort of laid that foundation, if you will. But the last couple of weeks, he's gone to these camps, and he's absolutely just tore it up. Really impressive physical athlete, number 1 defensive lineman in America. Right now, I know Seneca Driver's like 15th, so he would be the highest since Seneca Driver. And then before that, from a consensus ranking standpoint, it's hard to find a recruit that's closer in the internet era. Now,
Landon Young would be the last one. He was like top 25. But
he was a 5-star. Jedrick Wills was probably close.
Yeah, he was up there.
But there have just very few times this comes around. Now, obviously, rankings can change between now and the end. Like, Keontae Goodwin was in this sort of company until he did
31
All-Star games, and then he started sliding. So, nevertheless, Hall, big-time player that we are going to be closely watching as we cover recruiting over the next 2 years for Kentucky. Patrick Murphy texted in the Gameday Men's Health text line. What would happen to the Army-Navy game if they do switch around the schedules? Like, that is one.
That's a big talking point. Yeah. They don't know. That's the answer. They don't know. They'd have to figure that out.
Yeah, because the
Navy and Army could make the playoff. That's the thing.
Well, and this year they were talking about doing it on the same day as the opening round of the playoffs, where they wouldn't get the whole day to themselves, but they would get their own window where
the game before it started. Right.
Yeah. But I don't. Yeah, that's the part where this is. I know the Navy coach. He proposed Thanksgiving weekend. Did he propose Thanksgiving weekend or week 0? I forget, but I think they're looking at a potential week Thanksgiving weekend sort of deal. I hate that what they're doing to Thanksgiving week, by the way, because we had the schedule release like it. Hate that there's a Wednesday night NFL game. Like I don't want it.
It's gonna be weird.
It's gonna be weird. I don't know. And it's on a streamer too. Like I've never watched the Black Friday NFL game because I don't care about it. Give me, I'm watching college football on Black Friday, right? And because they took away our Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night, they took away A&M Texas on Thanksgiving. Those games are all on Friday.
I think they're coming back though. I think
Egg Bowl's and
A&M's on Thanksgiving this year.
I'm pretty sure that's Friday because they released the schedule for it. Egg Bowl's at noon on a Friday. Like what? Well, it needs to be under the lights. I need maximum chaos possible. I fell in love with the Egg Bowl about 6 or 7 bourbons deep on a Thanksgiving night while Van Jefferson was peeing like a dog all over the Starkville turf. Like, I need maximum chaos in the Egg Bowl.
TCU Texas Tech's on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And Egg Bowl's Black Friday at noon. Texas A&M is the night game on Black Friday. Florida State's the 3:30. And then you get Nebraska, Iowa will also be on Black Friday, which has got to be. That's my favorite Black Friday game.
Oh, yeah, just bet Iowa blindly every year. Doesn't matter. Just I'm taking Iowa. Which, look, Iowa hires an 87-year-old to fix their passing game is the funniest headline ever. But if there was one man who could make Iowa master the forward pass, it's Tom Moore, who people remember as Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator for many years at Indianapolis. He was close with Bruce Arians, so he spent the last couple of years in one of those film watching roles at Tampa Bay. Now Iowa's hired him. If it would be the funniest thing if all of a sudden Tom Moore turns them into, a passing proficient offense. Like,
I'm trying to think of what would the example from a movie be of someone who's an expert in the field walking into a situation and it's just like, what the hell? How broken is this?
Well, and what would even be the Kentucky equivalent? Because
he's like Taffer. He's like John Taffer, just walking into the situation.
Oh, man. And I guess if you had a Kentucky equivalent, it would be like if Hal Mummy actually stayed good and then came back to fix Mark Stoops' offense years later. But that's not even the right one. Like, it would have to be, I don't know, Derek Ramsey or some quarterback from forever ago doing it. But it's fascinating to me that this is where Iowa turns to.
If Brom starts having some struggles offensively, just bring Bobby Petrino back to come fix the offense.
There we go. What's the Big Cat video that he always plays? Sometimes to move forward, you gotta go back.
Go back. The only way to move forward is go back. Yeah.
Oh man. Let's go back to the Gameday Men's Health text line 502-41-1450. Nick, good to have you back for a bit. You are all right. The roster shouldn't be in the shape it is, but tradition doesn't seem to matter much to the top recruits now. BYU is getting number 1 overalls, and that tells me everything I need to know. I'm fascinated with the AJ DeBonsta saga, which Roman, we'll get a little NBA talk here, Roman, because this is right up your alley. I am of the firm belief that the Wizards should take the high 4 pick because they've been building for this. They shouldn't mess it up. They should get DeBonsta. But I know the Jazz want him really badly. That owner seemingly paid for AJ DeBonsta to play high school ball there, play for BYU. He got the Jazz to tank. He wants him badly. Do you think that the Jazz would even trade to move up to get DeBonsta, Roman? Or do you think it won't matter because the Wizards will just get Darren Peterson? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the Wizards have to take DeBonsta. I think that when you have a player like that who seems like he could be a potential generational talent, and there's question marks on the other 2 candidates for that category in some way, shape, or form, it would be malpractice to trade down and not take the best overall prospect, in my opinion. I think the Jazz are going to be willing to trade up. I think the Jazz are going to be willing to get fleeced in order to get that first pick, right? We'll give you anybody you want right here, right now. We'll sign Laurie. We'll do whatever you want just to get us that second pick, which in the long run probably wouldn't be the smarter decision. Danny Ainge has to know that, that's not an idiot. So I don't see them giving up parts of their future for one piece of a future. But the Wizards, they've kind of got a bunch of wings. You got your old guard in Trey is not going to be your long term. Technically, Darren Peterson as a guard makes more sense in the short term for the Wizards when you think about what Trey potentially is. I'd take DeBonsta. I'd trade AD. Go fleece somebody for AD. Keep DeBonsta. Build around that with the young core that you've got. The Jazz, if they're willing to give you that second pick, and I mean, you can get DP with that second pick and maybe fleece them, the Wizards are probably going to look into that potentially. I just don't see Danny Ainge making a bad decision like that.
I would like to see the Wizards mess this up, though, just because it would be the most Wizards thing ever. I mean, they finally trade for some old treads off the tires a little bit, a little worn, but you can kind of see it, especially with those young guys. And for them to actually get the number 1 pick, it would be the most Wizards thing for it to blow up in their face.
Yeah, to trade down, grab DP, and then like the actual body cramp issue is like a year-long thing, and they don't get him, and he's nowhere near a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Are you surprised at all that the Detroit Pistons, the 1 seed, looked so laughable in Game 7 yesterday? It wasn't even close.
I was surprised. I predicted Pistons in 7 before the series started. I thought it was going to be a back-and-forth one. It's such a weird thing when teams force that Game 7 and then drop a stinker. I just don't understand it. I'll never get it. I'll never know what goes into that or what the lack of coaching or the lack of mentality that they had to bring together for a game like that. You just did it, right? Your back was against the wall. You already felt it once. Mission's not accomplished. Nothing was achieved, and then all of a sudden it's just like playing again like it's the second quarter of a Game 2 or something like that. I'll never understand that, fellas. I'm still trying to look into like the science behind not even basketball, like how a team can force a Game 7, can be in a position to lose the series, and when Game 7 comes around, you do not look like you want it at all.
Well, the Cavs were proved right because they fired that coach because of lack of playoff success.
Yeah.
And then they got to face him in what they thought ended up playing out. Like they didn't play to expectations, and now they're moving on. So Cleveland now has made a bunch of conference finals here.
Yeah.
In the last however many years. So they're on a good run.
Any chance that the underdogs can win the conference finals? Or we have the Spurs starting things off tonight against the Thunder, the Knicks, and the Cavs. Or is this all chalk all the way? Go ahead, Knicks Thunder final. We'll see you here in a couple weeks.
It's probably going to be Knicks Thunder. I've picked Cavaliers in 7. I think that they've got just enough size and defensive ability to mess some things up that the Knicks like to do. Don't really know what it's going to look like guarding Jalen Brunson with Harden and D. Mitch out there. You're going to have to play your better defenders, which aren't those two guys, more minutes, which is going to be ugly. Like when Max Strus is out there more than he needs to be because he's the best suited person to stay in front of Brunson. Those are going to be interesting chess moves that these coaches are going to have to get through. I just like the ceiling for these two teams. I feel like this, with what I've seen in the playoffs, the Cavs ceiling is just a tad bit higher than the Knicks. I know the Knicks defensively have been A1, but I'm rocking with the Cavs in 7. The Thunder Spurs series is a lot more interesting to me, even though there's a chance that the Knicks series can be a longer one. The Thunder didn't beat the Spurs in the regular season. The Spurs have been an up and down team already these playoffs. It's an interesting one. I think the Thunder get the job done in 6. I'm seeing a lot of back and forth on this one. A lot of buddies feel like it's Spurs in 7 on this one. I think it all kind of comes down to the 3-point shooting and the turnovers, right? Who can force the most turnovers and hit the most threes? I'm still leaning with the MVP. I'm leaning with the well-oiled machine, the team that's been in this spot and already got the job done.
Two-time reigning MVP,
Yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who won that over the weekend. I think the biggest thing that people aren't factoring into is that the Thunder got Jalen Williams back, and he really hasn't played at all this playoffs. So they get him back at the right time. And it feels like the Spurs, I wouldn't say are a year early, but they probably have to lose a Western Conference Finals to the Thunder before they beat them in one to get to the finals.
That's what it feels like.
It's kind of weird how the NBA works like that, I would like to see the Knicks fans just absolutely lose it if they lose this series. Because the Knicks fans, they are them and the Jets. Like the Knicks Jets fans, that Venn diagram is the funniest. They're the funniest people to see online. Them and the Philly sports fans.
Only to finally make it to the conference finals, only to lose to flyover states would really drive them crazy.
Oh, with James Harden too. I mean, just looking all fat out there, drawing fouls.
I mean, losing to Indiana, if you lose to Indiana and then Cleveland in back-to-back conference finals, it's just a terrible look.
Yeah, and they fired Thibodeau because of that, right?
Man.
Now they're back here. That would
be a real shame.
That's the best result of all for this conference finals. That is the best one. Just Knicks just being besides themselves.
And it all starts tonight. Spurs Thunder, Wemby doing his Wemby thing. Could be a lot of fun now that and you know what, I just hope that we get fun basketball that I can actually watch, because similar to my Kentucky baseball luck like it, I feel like every time I would turn on the playoffs, it would just be a stupid blowout. There were a couple close games mixed in here and there, but I had no good luck with them. So hopefully we get a couple of competitive conference finals. That action begins tonight on NBC. We've got to get to our final break on this 11 personnel takeover of Kentucky Roll Call. He's Adam Luckett. Roman's in the studio. I'm Nick Roush. This is the Big X Sports Radio.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world.
Indiana Fever basketball.
Cunningham tosses it in to Hines Allen, to Caitlin for the tie. Yes!
Catch the fever.
Caitlin near the logo, launches a three, buries it.
The Indiana Fever.
CC eyes the rim, dribbles left, shoots over Area Bend. It's good!
Follow the Indiana Fever all season long.
I gotta have more fever.
On the Big X Sports Radio.
Since 1914, Creamer's Smoke Shop has been your one-stop smoke shop, family-owned and proudly serving Louisville. We offer the largest selection of cigars in the area, plus classic wooden pipes and premium loose and tinned pipe tobacco. Conveniently located right off 64 and 71 at 1839 Brownsboro Road, or call 502-584-3332 to check what's in stock. Creamer's Smoke Shop, your one-stop smoke shop since 1914.
At the IHSAA, we're proud to have partners who share our vision of building a strong Indiana. I'm Commissioner Paul Neidig.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez, Chief Impact Officer of Old National Bank, founded and headquartered in Evansville, Indiana. We couldn't be prouder of our Hoosier heritage.
And Hoosiers couldn't love high school sports more.
That's why it's important to us as a Hoosier bank to invest in high school sports. We offer financial literacy programs that help student athletes make educated financial decisions once their playing days are over.
The association is committed to keeping high school sports focused on education first. The life lessons we teach help student athletes develop both in the game and in life.
And that's a win for every Hoosier.
Thanks to partners like Old National Bank, the future of Indiana looks strong.
Support education-based athletics by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events.
This is investing in our future.
This is building up Indiana.
This is your IHSAA.
Are you feeling self-conscious about hair loss? You can fix that issue today. Whether you're having thinning hair or total hair loss, Hair by Shannon will work with you to find the perfect solution. No surgery, no hassle, just a fresh, natural look you'll love. Hair by Shannon specializes in hair replacement systems that restore your natural look and confidence, with free consultations to help you find the perfect solution. Whether you need a full replacement, emergency service, or just a quick touch-up, Hair by Shannon has you covered with multiple systems and flexible payment options. Plus, as a full-service salon and barber, she offers everything you need to look and feel your best. Take the first step toward the new you and feel more confident. Call 502-572-4487 now, or visit Hair by Shannon on Facebook to schedule your free consultation today. Get the hair you've always wanted at Hair by Shannon, where confidence begins. 502-572-4487.
Options. When it comes to insurance, that's exactly what you deserve. I'm Chad Hennessy with InsureMax, and I've been proudly serving the Louisville area for over 25 years. As an independent agent, we work with Auto Owners Insurance to find coverage that fits you, not the other way around. InsureMax delivers strength, service, and peace of mind through partners like Auto Owners Insurance. More choices, more options. Call me, Chad Hennessy, at 502-479-4085.
Honey Baked Ham in New Albany is the perfect spot for a healthy alternative to fast food. They provide a variety of freshly made sandwiches, as well as salads and delicious soups, and you can dine in or take it to go. They also have many dinner options such as ham, turkey, frozen sides, and desserts, which provide a complete meal. Catering is also available for small groups or large gatherings. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 812-941-9426, or visit them, 3602 North Gate Court, Suite 23 in New Albany.
Welcome back in. One final segment of Kentucky Roll Call here on the Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. I'm Nick Roush. That's Adam Luckett. Roman's in the studio for this E11 personnel takeover. As we recap the weekend, get you ready for the final week of school for a lot of folks. We had our last week of daycare for the little ones last week, Luckett, and then the oldest, it's his last week of kindergarten, but he's feeling a little under the weather. So, dealing with that. The transition from school to summer, it can be a little rough, but we'll figure it out. I did enjoy the sort of warmer weather the last couple of days, though. The listeners here on the Big X have heard me complain about the heat in the summer for a long time, but it is kind of exciting when you realize, we're going to be able to start doing some swimming, some summer things here in the very near future.
Yeah, AC acting up here, so I'm not too happy about this heat right now. Getting looked at tonight, so hopefully it's nothing.
It's a new air conditioning, Luckett. You just got it.
I know. Fisher Holmes about to be on the phone.
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, that's why my hope. I hope it's nothing too crazy. Hope it's just something. Maybe user error. I'll settle for that. Tell me I'm using it wrong, and then
we had an issue one time with the furnace. We're like, why isn't the furnace working? Well, a broom had fallen over and it had hit the switch and just turned it off. So who knows? Maybe there's a switch that somebody just accidentally turned off. The dog, messed around and did something. So
yeah, hopefully it's something simple.
Those are always cheap fixes too. HVAC.
Yeah.
Notoriously cheap. But I'm fired up to get rolling this summer. Also, we are in the middle of Churchill Downs meet, and look at your guy. We won a couple races after the Preakness. It was not the winningest Saturday as we picked the ponies at Laurel Park, but had Iron Honor at a little win place bet. Came in second, so we got some place money there at 9-1. Wasn't able to really hit that second gear to get home, but we did have Napoleon Solo in the exacta ticket that paid about $50. So had some winners there in the Preakness Stakes where, it did feel juiceless with only 4,600 people there. It was very.
And all that was there.
That was they capped the attendance, and now the betting handle actually did pretty well despite not having a Kentucky Derby winner present. But so it shows you that there were some people who were still interested in betting on the races, but just it didn't have the same feel with the lack of attendance there. And I could feel at least the juice of Churchill Downs though. There was a solid crowd there Saturday night for the night races. The rain kept some people away, but a lot of grads showed up so you had kind of the young high school crowd. Then you had the degenerates like myself who were there picking the ponies. Ran into E.J. Clark rocking his Kentucky Winter Circle hat. He tried giving me some picks and they were all chalk. And the only one that came in was the chalkiest play of the day, which Burnham Square, if you'll remember, was a Derby horse who I believe won the Bluegrass Stakes either last year or the year before. He's now a long-distance turf horse, and he kicks all kinds of ass. Didn't even have to try to win by a lot. And so he will be a horse that will be in the Breeders' Cup Turf Marathon. If you see him out there, it'll be a short price, but he's a winner whenever he does it. So he got the big win on Saturday night. Well, again, I brought up most of this just to mention that. So we had a couple winners we were stringing together. and in the second to last race had another nice winner. Finally kind of got my foot on even ground after losing some money at Laurel Park. Well, then we ran into a friend who owned a horse in the very last race. So, you got a little extra money in your account. You've got a lot of extra drinks in your system. You get down in the paddock. You see the horse up close. You see the jockeys, the trainers. All right, let's get after it. This horse looks ready to go. He's game. We get down into the finish line suites. Like, we'll bring out a larger hammer than we normally use. Let's get after it here. Let's win big with this horse. And I'm not one of those who I can see the horse in the paddock and I know that they're going to win. But when I see a horse that's overexerted, that's sweating, this horse he looked like he'd been there before. He looked ready to roll. Gets into the gate. We're right near the starting gate. Gets a pretty decent trip, but is behind some horses. Well, the track was muddy. He did not like the track whatsoever. Just didn't run worth a lick. I think he ended up getting fourth. But it was one of those where we were prepared to have an all-time celebration, packed winner's circle, just the whole crew. It was my boy's birthday. It was going to be nuttier than a payday. But a little mud got in his face, and he was cooked. Never stood a chance. It was a little bit of a whimper to end the Saturday night, but still, nevertheless, pretty fun just to kind of be down in the paddock, be up close. We didn't get the win that we were searching for to end the night.
That betting strategy sounds like the one where you hit in 3 or 4 leg anytime touchdown parlay. You're feeling good about it. You're sitting down to watch Sunday Night Football, and you just see a look in Baker Mayfield's eye. Give me the Bucks. Money line plus 10. Final score: Falcons 30, Bucks 14.
Yep.
Never in it.
Right. It's over at halftime. That's what it felt like. But we're speaking of the NFL. Me and Scoots, we got our quarterback of the future for another year, Aaron Rodgers.
I see him out there warming up with he's got his cane out there.
I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like it's similar to Kentucky baseball that I'm in Pittsburgh Steelers purgatory, and he's just going to do this again. And maybe he recreates a little bit of magic with Mike McCarthy, but it's not there down the field. And they've got 2 big wideouts who, you can throw a slot fade to them, but can you throw it more than 20 yards down the field to them? I don't think so. So, and is Aaron Rodgers, what if Will Howard or Mason, what if Will Howard, the light comes on? Is Aaron Rodgers going to sit idly by and let Will Howard just step in? It feels like they're going to do
I don't think you have to worry about that. I'm going out on a limb here. I love Will Howard, but I don't think you're going to have to worry about that.
I hate the seemingly 500 cycle they're in, and you just fired Mike Tomlin to get another 500 coach that will get you right back in that same spot where it's week 18. Here it is, AFC North matchup for a chance to go to the playoffs. Same old.
I actually kind of like some of the stuff the Steelers did in free agency. Yeah, defense is still old, but they've got some good pieces there. And then, you kind of, the receivers are a little, it's a unique receiver room with Pittman and DK.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't know what you're going to get from Roman Wilson at all. But you got the big tight ends there that you think could do something. And you do think McCarthy, as a play caller, he is an upgrade in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. So there's at least that. But
from
then
what they had last year.
But then you get into the physical limitations of Rodgers.
And also what was the Mike Tomlin magic? That's what you're going to figure out.
How much? Yeah, true.
How many wins was he worth a year? I almost to me with the Steelers, you're going to figure out how many wins Tomlin was worth this season. Because he was probably going 9-8, 10-7 with his team.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? And because they're going to have to play the first place schedule, so they're going to have a tough schedule this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just interesting. And Cam Hayward, what's he going to play? 25 years? He's still awesome. Can Watt stay healthy? They've got the pieces on defense, and then offensively, just what's what's it look like? Rico Dowdle I thought was a nice pickup. Specifically, he had a really good year a couple years ago with the Cowboys with McCarthy. He was awesome last year with the Panthers. So they got some pieces there. Like, you think they're going to be, solid. It's just how much of a hard cap does Rodgers put on them, and then what is the – because there's going to be something negative, I think, to come out of losing Tomlin, and just what is it and how big is that kind of tax, I guess.
The Tomlin tax.
Yeah, the Tomlin tax. It's the standard gone now. The standard's no longer the standard.
It better still be the standard, by God. It better still be the standard. And when you just look around the North in general, there was so much change.
The division's fascinating.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, here's something, I know this is wacky, and it sounds insane, but what if Deshaun Watson is just good? I know that is unlikely, but the Browns, they still have Myles Garrett.
But they lost Schwartz, who was the defense coordinator. Like, how big of a loss is that? Like, similar to Tomlin. Like, he was awesome.
True. And, how good is Todd Monken actually going to be? The Browns probably are the goofy dragon in the meme, They're probably going to end up being the odd one left out. But as far as
they did on the offensive line, they spent big free agency on the offensive line, so that, in theory, if you have a top 10 defense and offensive line that's not terrible, you should win some football games.
Right, and you seemingly like the way that Todd Monken has called plays. I know Georgia fans like that. He was able to get them over the hump, and what he did with Lamar was pretty fun. So there's that to wonder about. There's also just the Bengals. It feels like there's a lot of anxiety like it just with hey, we have this window here. We got to the Super Bowl ahead of time, but we haven't been able to do anything since because of injuries. So, is this a make or break year for Zach Taylor? And what does that even mean, right?
Yeah, I think even just kind of everyone involved. I think it's kind of an all-in year for the Bengals. And you consider what's going on around them, not only in the division but the AFC at large. Very, very much feels like a little bit of a transition here, and it feels like I think they have the pieces, and then the offense is king, but it feels like they finally complemented it.
Yeah,
they do have a defensive line, I think, that's going to be pretty good.
Making that trade for what's his name was huge from the Giants.
You lose Hendrickson, but I like what they've got as some rushers behind him. I like what they did in the draft.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence is awesome.
Linebackers a huge concern, but Brian Cook over Geno Stone is one of the biggest upgrades in the NFL. I think it's safety. So the pieces are there for this to be like a 12th to 16th defense, and if they're that and Burrow's healthy with one of the top 3 offenses in the NFL, that's going to win you a lot of football games. So yeah, I think they definitely got to make the playoffs, and then I think Bengals, if you're for me, from my side, if Burrow's in the playoffs, I feel confident. I do feel confident that we're going to get into these games and have a real chance to win it with him playing quarterback, because Nick, I lived the Andy Dalton era, so I know what it's like to get in that dance and to not have a quarterback. I think the Texans, weirdly, were a great example of this last year.
Yeah, they were the Andy Dalton Bengals.
Zero confidence in Stroud.
Which is so strange how he fell off a cliff so badly.
Kick-ass defense. Assuming I can say that on KRC.
Yeah.
You just it felt like it was wide open. It was there for the taking, and they just couldn't go grab it because Stroud was just just struggled so much. And part of the reason the Patriots made it, even though May didn't get a lot of help, is just because he could make every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have that from the quarterback position, in my opinion, in the playoffs. Either that or you got to build a super team around them. For the Bengals, I feel like if we get in the playoffs, I know we can beat anybody. It's just getting there and avoiding the slow starts and
maybe a road trip to Buffalo. I know you won that one in the snow, but still, you would rather not be in Buffalo or Kansas City when
sure.
And I know there's a lot of folks out there, big Ravens fans in the city because of Lamar Jackson, but I mean, they got a Hendrickson, and maybe the change in coaching is the shot in the arm they needed. I mean,
yeah, there's another one fascinating because Well, I look at it. They got that. I think it's Declan Doyle who was with Ben Johnson. And just that Ben Johnson structure, like I always say, there are offensive coordinators that are playing quarterback through the headset. Like they want to play quarterback that way. And with Lamar,
it's not.
His biggest superpower is just kind of getting under center and running play action, right? So I'm interested to see just what that meant. And that Declan Doyle's like 29 years old. Like he's super young, I believe, their offensive coordinator. So that's going to be that's fascinating. The Minter, defense has kind of been a big weakness for them since they lost Mike McDonald, essentially.
Yeah.
And so can he fix that at all? So it's crazy. 3 new coaches in the division.
Yeah. I'm glad we're doing just a hard reset NFL talk because A, it's May. Who cares? This is fun. B, not enough people are ready for Harbaugh and McDaniel on a sideline together with the Chargers. Because, like, in my brain, like, we saw the injuries that they had to go through last year, and I'm assuming their tackles will be back because those injuries happened early enough in the year. But, like, losing Minter, what does that do for them? Right? Like, how big of a hit is that? Because the Chargers might be we have them in our minds as, at best, they're, like, second or third in the division, and then they just lose in the playoffs. What was the smart man in the room, Brandon Staley? He was just, like, the king of
Herbert's not been good in the playoffs. That's been the big thing, in my opinion. But I think there's reasons for it, but he's not been good when they've gotten in.
Well, and he just had to be kind of a superhero last year. But it feels like they did enough in the offseason where they should be one of those. Like, I know that Bo Nix and the Broncos, like, that is one of those future wagers that I feel pretty – like, I'm going to be taking a close look at their futures whenever that time comes a little bit later this summer.
Yeah, and then the Mike McDaniel, like, how much does he help?
Because he might just be the perfect offensive coordinator but bad head coach fit kind of guy, It's just his overall just the way he could be a like McDaniels for the Patriots, where it's just but hell, this one did better for a couple of years there at Miami, but still.
And can he help, like, give Herbert a couple more easy buttons?
Yes.
Because hard mode, like, we've seen Herbert have to play quarterback on hard mode, but what happens if it's just medium mode?
Yeah, he's not on Heisman and having to get killed out there every single play.
Yeah, they are. I think, like, if you're gonna look at, like, Super Bowl wagers, like, they would be near the top of my list.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't know what it's going to be, and that just I will end it with the team that everybody loves to kind of hate on, but, like, if the Chiefs figure a way to keep doing this with all of the changes that are happening around them, like, this feels like their hard reset year, doesn't it? Where it kind of like the Brady year with Matt Castle, except they're like, when is Mahomes even going to be back? And, like,
yeah, and what does he look like those first few weeks, and then, like, where are they at? I still, like, I hate their receivers. Like,
so much.
I just hate their receiver situation.
They should have they got a running back, so, like, in theory, they could maybe run the football some.
Andy Reid doesn't want to run the ball, though.
I know.
That's the thing. Like, are they really going to commit to that? That's why I thought that was an interesting signing for them. And then, like, tackles a huge issue. And then defensively, just where are they at after losing? They just got rid of their best player in into the corner. His name escaped me off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't either, but yeah.
And Chris Jones, and then just their stars are aging out with Jones and Kelsey.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Man, that felt good. Felt good to get a little NFL talk in. Flex those muscles. Because there's not much happening right now. But it feels good to get some shots up because the NFL does, like, the world revolves around the NFL. And this is the slow time of the year. But we don't get to chat about it enough. The one bit of news that did happen today, Minnesota going to get the NFL draft. I
did see that. Mall of America draft.
You have the players ride the roller coaster after they get their name called. Go to the front
Goodell
of the
he's making the pick from Great American Cookie.
Would they just do it inside the stadium? I don't know. NFL draft, we've been there, and it's fun. Just say you've been there, but it is a weird event to attend.
Yeah, I would. But you need to go. It is very much like But one of the most American things I've ever been to in my life. All different walks of life.
Yeah.
Every ethnicity, I think, is represented, and everyone is there for this dumbest reason. But everyone's it's just like a celebration, really, of football to me, in being a football fan. And everyone's it's a big festival, honestly, and it's just. It was cool. It's hard to explain. I think you just kind of have to go to kind of experience it. But just being there, everyone is just they're naming players, but we're all just having a good time. Or there's people there with their friends, like Vikings and Packers fans there together, and they're making fun of the other team's picks.
But you can't really lose either because hope springs eternal. So. There are no losers.
I think it's really just being it's like I'm a football fan and I'm proud of it and I'm celebrating it. That's kind of what it felt like at the draft.
Yeah. Oh man. And we blinked and 2 hours came and went. Who you got tomorrow filling in, Roman? Haven't
figured that out yet.
Coming in? Well, we couldn't hear you because you muted yourself. But
haven't figured that out yet, but we'll get word and
there we go. Somebody will fill in tomorrow for Stephen Peak.
Probably TJ.
There we go. That's Adam Luckett, though. I'm Nick Roush. We've had a lot of fun with our 11 personnel takeover of Kentucky Roll Call. We appreciate you, and hey, we'll see you before too long. This has been Kentucky Roll Call. The Big Export Radio.
We had a great show. Oh, what a blast. Laughs came quick.
Calling all young golfers. The PGA Junior League at Old Capitol Golf Club is the perfect way to learn the game, make new friends, and compete in a fun team